everybody, and welcome back to Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath, and our featured matchup for the day brings us to the map Smash Decision. And spawning in the bottom left corner as the Cyan Black Hand, we have zTipzee. And his opponent sliding up into the top right position as the Red Steel Talons, we have Cyberstorm. So it is going to be Steel Talons versus Black Hand on this map, and interestingly, Cyberstorm dropping his barracks down here, maybe thinking that there was a Tib spike here down on the bottom right, but not going to be the case, and I think he only drafted one engineer. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, this map has been changed since the last time I casted on it. I think the last time I caught a game here, there were, in fact, 2 Tiberium spikes up here. Looks like that has since been changed, but that just goes to show you how much I pay attention. Anyways, going to be seeing Black Hand versus Steel Talons, and this is an interesting matchup, especially on a map like this. I would be seeing that, I would be thinking that Steel Talons have a bit of a leg up here, as Cyberstorm actually does lose one of his scouts here down on the bottom side. Obviously, Confessor Cabal is definitely going to be winning that early scouting war between the early game scouts here. But it is going to be infantry standing on Tiberium here for zTipzee. Does want to keep them a bit healthy, and it doesn't look like zTipzee has actually opted to go for anything too aggressive here. He's going to play this one out eco-wise. Doing a lot of work scouting here, which is kind of interesting. Not quite sure exactly what his plan is. It looks like it is going to be a second refinery coming down, but he's really kept Cyberstorm anti-scouted pretty hard here. As you can see, take a look at the mini-map. You can see it is pretty much a solid wall of cyan across the map. And Cyberstorm doesn't seem to be too concerned about that. He's actually going for more eco here, despite not really having any vision of what's going on with zTipzee here. So an interesting point is nobody's actually drafted an engineer for the upper Tiberium spike here in the top left corner. It is pretty risky to send an engineer up there early game. However, we could potentially see somebody look to send something down there a little bit later. Ooh, MCV might get a free crush here. That's unfortunate. zTipzee not paying attention. Could have saved the majority of that squad. Luckily, he didn't lose the whole squad, so he will still get some scouting information. However, he does have one of the bunkers down here as well. Going to be giving him plenty of information, but let's take a look and see what the builds look like. Looks like zTipzee went for the pack up as well. More harvesters coming out, so pretty lackluster early game here, and that should mean that we're going to be in for a good mid-game fight. It looks like zTipzee going to opt to use the 2 members of this Confessor Cabal squad to do some damage to that power plant. Forces a draft here from Cyberstorm, just doesn't want to deal with the annoyance. Actually, a second drafted tower here from Cyberstorm, so that's actually a fair bit of economy that's been spent on towers just to deal with these scouting units. However, zTipzee could have pulled them back just to keep those scouting units in his favor. But again, Cyberstorm not really sending out any pit bulls or anything. It seems like he's content with just playing this one safe and going for, well, I guess not necessarily safe. It's actually pretty risky. Just going to be sitting there with his standard eco play. A couple of bikes now coming out for zTipzee, realizing that he does need to put on a little bit of pressure here. Doesn't want to allow Cyberstorm to just eco up and become this powerhouse, because Steel Talons, once they get some eco under their belt and they get rolling here, it can get pretty dicey for Black Hand. A couple of Titans coming out here for Cyberstorm. Looks like they're going to look to put a little bit of pressure here on zTipzee. And again, Titan's going to be fantastic on this map just based on the terrain. It looks like they're actually coming out to defend this blue Tiberium harvester, and the bike's getting a fair bit of damage, bringing that harvester down to about a third of its HP, but not going to be enough to do drop it down into heavy damage mode. It looks like a couple of rocket squads going to be coming forward, poking a bit of damage on these Titans. We did see a bike go down to the watchtower drops as well, and I think a Titan came out here on the front lines for Cyberstorm. So it looks like it is going to be infantry spam a little bit here for zTipzee, and infantry upgrades done as well, so Black Disciples are done for him. Could potentially see Blue Flame in this game, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to be on the cards just yet. It looks like the War Factory was powered down for a second there. Looks like low power is the issue here for Cyberstorm at the moment. A harvester being called in to get some crushes there, and actually a veteran rifleman squad going to be trying to deal with this infantry, and this is the problem. He's got Titans out now to deal with this, but the Titans not going to be so good at dealing with infantry, so a bit of infantry being expended there. I think zTipzee could have just walked in, done a bit of damage, forced the laser fencing, and then just backed off. He didn't necessarily need to continue to commit into that, but just decided to let that force die off anyways. Not going to worry about it too much. A fair bit of Titans here on the top side of the map for Cyberstorm, maybe expecting a bit of flanking maneuver coming in from zTipzee in the form of bikes. But it is just going to be infantry spam coming in from zTipzee. Would be good to see an airfield coming in from Cyberstorm. Hammerheads would be really good in addition to those Wolverines. However, Wolverines absolutely fantastic at dealing with infantry. Even the Black Hand infantry going to be pretty good. As long as they get massed up into decent enough numbers, they should chew through it pretty well. And let's take a look and see. AP ammo not done here for Cyberstorm. I don't even know if he has tier 2. He does have tier 2. Looks like that is about 3/4 of the way done. Only a few, or rather only a pair of Wolverines here for Cyberstorm, so he's going to need to start dropping some watchtowers here if he wants to hold off against these rocket squads, and actually a Harvester going down as well. So Cyberstorm not playing this out as well as he could, but however, we now have the Wolverines. AP ammo just now coming online, and this infantry force should get chewed up pretty well. However, it's a two-pronged attack here from zTipzee, going to be forcing Cyberstorm to chase them all around the map. And it looks like the War Factory could be going down. It looks like actually zTipzee going to choose to engage the Wolverines. Actually, this is a pretty good chance to engage those Wolverines right now as they come around this bit of terrain. And he's managing to catch out a fair bit of those Wolverines as they didn't get an opportunity to get a concave down. War Factory going down as well, so nice pickups there from zTipzee. And meanwhile, he does counterattack with the bikes on the top side of the map, so just causing problems for Cyberstorm all over the map. However, those bikes getting absolutely torn to shreds. The Titans coming in and absolutely tearing them apart. Oh, but the Titans were baited! The Titans were baited, calling in the Tib Vane detonation there, doing massive amounts of damage to that field, completely cleans it up. And actually, we do hear Tib Catalyst Missile. That's going to lock down this refinery and manages to catch himself a Harvester as well. Refinery almost going down there, more than likely to the garrison unit over here on the right-hand side. So a lot of eco damage being done here by zTipzee. However, his push has been more or less stopped at the moment. It looks like Cyberstorm's going to look to put on some counter pressure here to see if he can thin the numbers of this infantry before they become too largely massed up here. But Hammerhead's coming out as well. We do see the look like the Tib Seed coming in there from zTipzee, just going to be getting himself some additional eco. However, now there are Titans on the front lines, and the majority of the infantry has been cleaned up. Honestly, the Harvesters might get crushed here, and Black Hand Harvesters, they're not going to be able to stealth themselves, so they do need to be careful. Oh, one Harvester going down. Second Harvester going to be getting crushed. Oh, so close. So close to that Harvester getting crushed. And now it looks like zTipzee's still going to get his Harvesters crushed. But in the meantime, we did see some bikes looking to attack on the top side, but it looks like they did get shut down. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Flame Tank in the base of Cyberstorm, going to be looking to take down the War Factory. Should get himself a War Factory, however, I don't think that War Factory was really being used. Actually, no, that was the only War Factory for Cyberstorm at the moment. He does still have his MCV, he does still have an airfield, so he has production at the moment, but he's going to be gushing cash right now with the majority of his production cut offline. And zTipzee has managed to hold against this force, losing a fair bit of his eco, but he should be able to get that rebuilt pretty easily here. He hasn't taken too substantial of losses, but it's getting very messy here for these guys. Cyberstorm finally losing the remainder of his Titans there to the lasting infantry. And it looks like we do have that tier 3 down, and it looks like we did see charged particle beams being upgraded as well. So those infantry going to be getting a bit more upgrades as well. Actually, I think full upgrades there on the infantry, as those are the only two upgrades available. Potentially Purifying Flame, but we'll have to see. But Flame Tank coming in again from zTipzee, going to be coming in, should get himself a refinery, and that's going to be feeling pretty good. Actually takes down a Harvester that was very low on HP as well. Just splash damage there. So very, very nice move from zTipzee, and that Flame Tank will go down, but it has definitely traded itself out for a worthwhile attack. Now we do have a bit of infantry with a Mantis mixed in here, going to be looking to deal with those Hammerheads. Mantis does need to be careful, doesn't want to get picked off by the Titan. However, the Titan could potentially go down here if it walks too far forward. We did see the Hammerheads fly over the top, but it looks like they're going to try to get away from the Mantis. The Mantis does manage to take that one down, and without any ceramic armor, those Hammerheads get absolutely chewed to pieces. No Tib core available either, so just going to be the standard damage from those missiles from the Mantis. So very, very scary thing indeed, and you can see those Hammerheads just not going to be able to do anything against this force. Watchtower a bit far back. I would have thought maybe up and around this area here. I realize he's trying to keep it building blocked so that these infantry squads can't just come in and flame it down, but he was allowing his Harvesters to get shot up there. So interesting choices coming in from Cyberstorm. Does have a couple of Titans back out, but honestly, this is looking like zTipzee's game to throw at this stage. Blue Tiberium down here looks like it has been gathered by both zTipzee and Cyberstorm throughout the game. I think more so by zTipzee, just judging by where the crystals are. But anyways, Hammerheads are flying over the top. They are going to be supporting a couple of Titans here, but again, just small bits of skirmishes here and there, not a whole lot in the way of like large forces pushing forward. And a couple more Titans going to be walking into their death. Not quite sure what their plan was. Not going to be able to do anything of consequence here. And now the Hammerhead is going to go down as well. So 2 Titans and 2 Hammerheads going down for pretty much free there. I mean, they did a bit of infantry damage, but not very much, and would have been looking to use those Titans to go in for the crush on those Harvesters, at least force them off the line. But right now, harvesting advantage looking like it's actually over in favor of zTipzee, but we can see Cyberstorm has managed to recover pretty well. Orca Strike going to be coming in as well, and it should be hitting a fairly damaged Harvester here. It's not going to get pulled off, so I don't think it's going to be enough to take that Harvester out. It is enough to take that Harvester out and does a fair bit of damage to that refinery in the process. But in the meantime, we do see Cyberstorm. He has expanded already up to the top side of the map, and zTipzee going to be late to the party, going to be sending his MCV up there now. I don't think it has been spotted yet, though, and unfortunately a couple more Hammerheads going to be getting caught out there by those Mantis. Actually, just a lone Mantis here from zTipzee. Still no Tib Core either. Doesn't seem to be too concerned about the Hammerheads here. Seems to be content with just those single Mantis roaming squads to deal with it. Flame Tank on the top side of the map, going to be looking to deal with the construction yard here from Cyberstorm. I don't know how he's going to be able to stop this. He doesn't have enough to deal with it, and actually we do see SAM turrets coming down as well, going to be looking to defend against the Hammerheads coming in to deal with this. And now the Hammerhead's coming in to try and stop the Flame Tank, but it's not going to be enough, and the construction yard should be going down. Pack-ups and repacks from Cyberstorm. He does sell off his MCV there, only getting about 200 credits back for that, so still not looking too good here for Cyberstorm. Not quite sure what he's going to be able to do to recover, and that means that there's going to be a lot of lone mining time here for zTipzee if he decides to move his MCV forward. He should be looking to do that now, get himself some economy established. We did hear the Redeemer come out. It looks like it does have a flame garrison as well as an engineer as well, so he's going to be looking to move forward, maybe look to go in for a bit of a base push there, or rather push the Redeemer into the base of Cyberstorm. Hammerhead's doing a surprising bit of damage here, taking out all of the infantry, and there's really no supporting units for this base. And zTipzee now under some pressure, forced to drop double racks here to try to defend his MCV. And it looks like Cyberstorm has put enough pressure here on zTipzee to force him to respond. And the Hammerheads, it looks like, going to be trying to deal with the Redeemer here, but Titans not going to be using the ridges to their advantage, trying to deal with this Redeemer. The Redeemer turning and running in this situation. I don't know about this decision. I mean, it's just the Hammerheads really that he needs to worry about. These Titans really can't do that much damage, and he's going to turn and fight now. However, Titans moving into his main base. This is looking like it's actually pretty bad for zTipzee. He doesn't have anything back at home to defend against this, and he's struggling for eco because he hasn't actually established any eco in this expansion, and he's pretty much starved out at his 2 main fields here. And now these Titans just going to be running in absolutely uncontested. The Redeemer is being called back to base to stop these Titans. Oh my god, this is getting messy. Flame Tank on the top side of the map once again for zTipzee, going to be taking out some power plants, and it looks like the Hammerhead should be able to clean that up without too much trouble. But now the Redeemer is going to try to chase down the Titans. Titans getting crushes on some Harvesters that were left behind by zTipzee, so this game getting very messy indeed. Flame Tank not quite sure why it was running into its death over to the airfield. Looks like the airfield did get sold off or destroyed, however, by zTipzee, so very interesting. Veteran Titan here from Cyberstorm, going to be looking to come in, looking for some crushes on these Mantis, if nothing else, maybe just kill them off. Is changing targets, though, which isn't going to be too good. More Titans going to be rallying down here to the south. Looks like some infantry has moved in from zTipzee, managing to catch out some more Harvesters here, and actually Cyberstorm smartly pulling those Harvesters away. It looks like zTipzee has forgotten about this infantry force, should be looking to move that in to do some damage, at least force the Hammerheads to respond. But the Redeemer here just continuing to deal with these Titans, and the Titans just don't have enough damage output to deal with that Redeemer, so a bit of a wasted effort there to continue to push them forward without any support. And now the Hammerheads should be able to clean up this infantry. However, there's a fair bit of infantry here. No, they are going to be able to clean up all that infantry. 1 Hammerhead going down for the price of all that infantry, and in the meantime, only a few more pockets of infantry here and there. It looks like a radar scan coming in from Cyberstorm to see what's going on in this base. Really not a whole lot. Still no eco here from zTipzee. A missed opportunity if there ever was one. Needs to get that eco established. He's been trying to deal with these Titans, but I think he's got enough to defend his home base. And he's got those SAM turrets up online to keep his expansion alive. So looks like Titan's going to be rallied up to the top side of the map, going to force zTipzee to send the Redeemer up here. And this is not what zTipzee wants to see right now. He doesn't want to see the pressure on his only eco expansion that he really has access to at the moment. Could be looking to go back home and get some eco established back on that field, but the problem is the Titans are just keeping the Redeemer out of play here. However, the Redeemer is looking to go in for a bit of a base trade situation here, and it looks like the Titans are actually coming back home. I don't know about this decision. I think the Titans honestly would be better spent moving forward. I don't think they're going to be able to do any meaningful damage to this Redeemer. And there are 3 Titans sitting here firing on this force, but it looks like the War Factory has been cleaned up from Cyberstorm. I think that's all of his production. That's all of his production, so it looks like zTipzee managed to figure out how to cripple Cyberstorm in this game. However, a veteran Redeemer, but it's going to be taking a fair bit of damage now from these Titans that have returned back to base. But now the Titans getting shot down one by one. As you can see, they're all relatively damaged here, not using the terrain to their advantage once again, just in a tough situation. I don't see how Cyberstorm can really stand up in this game. It's not looking too good for him, and he's going to have to throw in the towel, and zTipzee comes away with the victory. So a pretty interesting game. I wouldn't say that there was any real large engagements. Maybe towards the beginning of the game when we saw the large infantry force moving in from zTipzee along with the bikes, getting that kind of triple-pronged attack from zTipzee, forcing Cyberstorm to respond to that with those Wolverines and Hammerheads. I don't think he even had Hammerheads at that time, and just trying to do what he could to stop that infantry force, and he managed to hold off the infantry, took a fair bit of eco damage, but then unfortunately got one-clicked pretty hard, lost a fair bit of his eco there as well, and a lot of his supporting Titans, and just struggled to get himself back into that game. So let's take a quick look at the resources graph, and you can see Tipsy had a fairly good advantage over the top of Cyberstorm for a good portion of the game, probably a good 4 or 5 minutes there, where he was over the top of him, but Cyberstorm started to equalize that as it got later into the game and actually managed to take out the majority of the harvesting from zTipzee. Actually, I don't even think he managed to take down the majority of the harvesting. He really just stopped the harvesting by not allowing Tipsy to get his expansion up and running. Those Hammerheads just forcing Tipsy out of position. Also, the Titans responding around the map, just putting pressure, constant pressure on Tipsy and forcing that Redeemer to come back to base when it really wanted to push forward and hit Cyberstorm as hard as it could. So I wouldn't say it was the greatest game of all time, but it was certainly an interesting game. A lot of small engagements here and there. Unfortunately, some micro mistakes that were made. A lot of harvesters going down when they didn't necessarily have to, but that's pretty easy to see happening in pretty much any game, as these games can tend to get away from you. But anyways, that's going to be it for me here today, folks. If you did enjoy the game, be sure to head over to gamereplays.org, the link down in the description, and give this replay a wub. And with that said, I will catch you all next time.